We've been talking about traveling a little bit throughout the show. How about traveling by yourself? Is that something you've ever done before? Is that something you are willing to try? Well, we're going to discuss that right now with Lisa Brookman, of course, founder of Wise Woman Canada and psychotherapist. Thank you so much for coming in, Lisa.
Thank you for
You're looking
me.
lovely, by the way, because you just came back from vacation.
Yes, I did not travel alone, though. I went with my husband, but I was on vacation.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just saying that I would, you know, you say never, but I don't think I'd ever travel alone. I'm too scared.
You know what? It's very interesting. I haven't traveled alone either. Although after kind of researching and speaking to a lot of people who have traveled alone, and I have a good friend, it seems like kind of a very interesting experience, and I might put it on my bucket list.
Yeah, well, there are people that just love to travel alone. I mean, I know my sister loves to travel alone. So what are some of the advantages of doing it? First of all, making new friends, right? Which is not something that comes very easy to some people.
You know, when you travel in a group, you're more likely to kind of just remain with that group, and you do things and you go and you're busy and you kind of miss what's going on around you.
Yeah.
When you travel on your own, you're more apt to talk to other travelers, to meet locals and talk with them. You open yourself up to kind of more one-on-one conversations with people you might not speak to otherwise.
Yeah, that's it, because we were discussing when you're on vacation with family, you always have that comfort, right, of that person being there with you.
Yes, and you also become super focused on the people you're with that you kind of miss what's going on around you.
Okay, so that's interesting. So an opportunity to get to meet new people. Then, of course, and I think this is one thing, though, that people would enjoy, is just having the freedom to do what you want.
What you want, where you want.
Yeah.
Again, when you're going with a group or traveling with one other person, there's lots of compromise. You know, you want to go left and they want to go right, and you want to have Italian food and they want to have sushi.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea of being able to kind of plan your own itinerary, make your own plans, change at the last minute. You know, if you decide you're tired one night and you don't feel like going out for supper and you just want to kind of sit in the hotel, you can make that decision too. It's a little bit easier. You have a lot of pressure when you're traveling with other people to kind of keep up with them.
Especially when you're traveling in a group, because I know, like, I've been through it where it's like, okay, we're going to go have breakfast at, you know, 7:30, and it's like, but I don't want to have breakfast at 7:30. I want to sleep until 10.
Exactly, and you go with other people and you have to meet with their families, and it kind of becomes a little bit chaotic. And the whole point of going on a vacation usually is to kind of relax and get out of the norm of what you're used to doing. So
okay, well, speaking about getting out of the norm, I mean, a big part of this, and I know it would be for me, is just overcoming that fear of being alone.
So, you know, there's fight or flight, which is something that we look at when we're looking at people who kind of have either some anxiety or difficulty making decisions.
Right.
When you're in a group, you're could be hidden. You could kind of lose your edge for trying to make steps forward or to being bold. When you're not, and you're on your own, and there's something you need to be challenged with, whether it's to eat food that you've never eaten or do an activity, there's no one around you to kind of either pull you away or pump you up. It's you who has to make that decision. And we're more apt to challenge ourselves when we're away from people who are influencing us. So it becomes interesting.
And you know what's interesting is that a lot of times you find that people are so nice and people are so friendly and end up being receptive of you. A lot of times we let our fear stop us from doing things.
Exactly.
Because we're worried about what people will think. But
what people will think, and we're worried, you know, oh, would this person fit in with our group? Or when you're traveling out there, you kind of just let all your inhibitions go, and you just have the sense of freedom. You meet people, you do things you might never have done. It's very fascinating.
And that brings us to our last point, and probably the best of all, is no drama.
No drama. Imagine there's no arguing, there's no discussions, heated things about compromising and conflict. You just do what you want to do when you want to do it. And I know that a lot of people who travel either in couples or with groups, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of negotiating and dilemmas and kind of sacrifices that we make that you don't have to do when you're traveling alone.
Yeah, and it's funny because you might be best friends like here at home, and then you go on vacation, you sort of see this other side.
It's always a good test.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa. Great advice.